Oil marketers yesterday, Tuesday, the 10th of October 2023, countered the position of the federal government as they insisted that the current pump price of petroleum products, especially of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, should not be less than 800 naira per litre if there was no subsidy on the commodity. Petrol currently sells at between 580 naira per litre and 670 naira per litre, depending on where you purchase it, as the federal government, through the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, had denied reintroducing fuel subsidy. On Monday, the group chief executive officer, Malam Iyari, denied the reintroduction of petrol subsidy and claimed that the pockets of queues by motorists observed in petrol stations across the country came from hiccups in product distribution from the north to the south and not a lack of supply. He had made the claim barely 48 hours after the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pegasin, confirmed the return of fuel subsidy. The oil marketers yesterday lambasted the NNPCL boss for coming out to state that the government was not subsidizing PMS. Also, on claims by NNPCL that it had enough products, Ipman secretary said it was not entirely correct. But the big question and the big story for today is whether subsidy is back or not. Why is it that Nigerians are not being told the truth and reality concerning it? And if it's true that the subsidy is back, the question becomes, why the removal in the first place? Well, this and more as it concerns the back and forth between the federal government and oil marketers on the issue of fuel subsidy is what this edition of the big story is all about. I was talking about subsidy on petroleum products, back or not? It's a question. Is it back that, or rather, is it true that the subsidy is back as being claimed by oil marketers or major oil marketers, or should we take the side of government saying that, well, subsidy is gone and gone forever, as stated by no other but Malam Iyari just a day before yesterday when he had a briefing with newsmen at the presidential villa in Abuja after meeting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who also asked, is it back or not? But anyway, well, we did today on the show, and indeed I have two guests. Joining me in the studio as usual is our very own, and I'm talking about no other person but Comrade FM&TV. Good morning and welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning. I will not be subsidizing my voice today.
Well, I just hope you will also subsidize the feeling you have surrounding this very topic.
I will suspend it and I'll bring it back.
Okay. Well, anyway. But anyway, also joining us all the way from Port Harcourt via phone, we have no other person but Mr. Fineface, Dunamini Fineface. I guess he's there. Hello, good morning to you, sir. Hello. Okay, we'll see how we can really bring him on board. And when we do so, we'll be having his thoughts as it concerns this very issue. But let me quickly come to you, Comrade FM&TV. Now, all of this started last week when Festus Osifo, who is the president of Pegasin, came out and to categorically state that the subsidy on petrol is back. And follow up to what he said just last week, Friday. On Monday, like I said, after a meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the presidential villa in Abuja, the NNPCL Group Chief Executive Officer, Iyari, told newsmen that subsidy is not back. But yesterday again, we still heard from no other but oil marketers that...
good morning.
Oh, okay, now it looks as if we have no other person but Mr. Fineface, Dunamini Fineface. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me on the program.
Well, thank you for also joining us. I do know how busy you are, but you need to also come and share your thoughts on this. And honestly, I would have loved to start with you. So let me just even go ahead and start first with you. Now, like I stated, I said all of these issues, whether petrol subsidy is back or not, started quite last year. We're talking about the back and forth between the federal government and oil major marketers. We know Festus Osifo, who is the president of Pegasin and also doubles as the president of the Trade Union Congress, came out on Friday to state basically that subsidy is back. And to follow up on what he said, I know President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had to invite the chief group managing director of the NNPCL, Iyari, to the presidential villa on Monday, where he also came out after that meeting to tell newsmen that, well, no, fuel subsidy is not back. So Festus Osifo is a bit economical with the truth. But anyway, follow up to what he said on Monday, just yesterday, around 3 p.m. to be precise, oil major marketers had a meeting and also a brief discussion with journalists when they also said that petrol subsidy is back, and they claim it came through the back door. Whether it came through the front or the back door, I'm really keen to get your thought on this. In your own belief, with all that is going back and forth, do you feel petrol subsidy is back?
Well, in a way, the fuel subsidy could be back. It could be back, and the government is not trying to tell us it's back. And it could also be that they are allegedly threatening the people that they are paying the subsidy to, not to expose government, because it's a way of covering their shame, haven't announced subsidy removal, and the failure of the government to manage the economy in such a way that the dollar could stabilize for people to import the product.
Yes.
The return of the subsidy now is for them to battle the difference between the dollar rate as at the time the subsidy was removed and the dollar rate currently. Yeah. That's the difference they are managing so that the fuel price does not increase and make the citizens to take to the street against them. That is what they are doing. In another swap to also prove that in a way subsidy may have returned and they don't want to say it, in order to also dodge and get themselves out of the quagmire or the grip of the amount they have to be paying again for subsidy, the NNPC have said they have taken back the sole role of importing PMS into the country.
Yes.
And saving themselves through that process is another way that, they have tried to cover their leak, their vomit that they are trying to swallow now. Now you also look at what the PUC is saying, the labor leaders are saying.
Yes. They
are the people in this sector. They are the people who know the major marketers. They are, even part of them are part of the major marketers.
Of course.
Who know what is happening underground. But, what the government is currently facing now, what they are doing now, is to ensuring that they do not, embarrass themselves publicly. And I also know quite well that they may have gone behind to tell the labor leaders that, look, you don't have to go and tell the people that this is what is happening. Take what you are being given and pull out. But if you fail to do so, we are going to take this step. But I think beyond what they are currently doing, they should work out modalities to ensuring that the refineries are back, big modular refinery licenses, and also strengthen internal production capacity of the refineries we have, including the private refineries, to see what we can do.
Mr. Fine-Face, we'll come to the issue of refineries later, but like I said, so in your own submission, you feel subsidy is back?
Yeah, I think subsidy is back, but government don't want to tell us openly that subsidy is back.
Okay, I'll plead with you to hold on. Comrade Fedomo, do you also believe in that assertion that subsidy is back?
Yeah, to make a bit light view of it. You may also call me Fine-Face?
No, well, anyway, just keep with your face. But let's look at it. Do you feel it is back?
As far as I'm concerned, when you look at the indices surrounding the oil industry, you will know that subsidy is back.
Okay.
Look at our surrounding neighbors. Look at the price of the products.
Okay.
Like Ghana, Cameroon, Nigeria, and all this. They are paying very high prices. And the crude, the price of the crude internationally is going up now.
Yes, it's about $94, $93.
Yes, if it has not even hit 100.
Yes.
And we still remain on.
And will definitely hit 100 because of the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza.
And the tension even in the other
in the Middle East.
In the Middle East.
Yeah.
Not only in the Middle East, even in the Far East.
Yeah, we're talking about Russia and Ukraine. All of those issues.
Russia and Ukraine, even South Korea has instructed their ammunition producers to step up their level of production. Yeah. Because anything can happen anytime.
Which we dealt with North Korea. Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. If you look at the increase in the crude price in international market, the price our neighboring countries are paying to get these petroleum products, and Nigeria still remain at that level of 600, then you know that something must be wrong somewhere. They are paying this subsidy indirectly without letting us know. Because one, if they have to announce to the general public that they have reintroduced the subsidy, then the question of the inability to have a political will to drive the economy will come up. If you know you are not going to be able to do this, why did you start it at all?
In the initial stage.
Yes, I always say something on this table. You don't go for a war if you know you are going to look stupid on top of a horse. Because when you are leading a war, you are looking stupid on top of the horse. it's a sign that you have lost that war.
Well, anyway, before we get you telling us more parables, I would really want to plead with you to hold on, because I need to get a thought also from Mr. Fineface, do not meaning. Now, Mr. Fineface, I guess you're still there with us.
Yes, I'm here.
Now, my next question is, can the government lie about this? Because I'm just really a bit curious. And why I ask is, knowing that they are the ones feeling the brunt, because yes, we know Festus, like I said, Festus Lusifo came out just on Wednesday to say, or rather on Friday, that the government seems to be economical with the truth. But the truth still remains that the federal government, through the NNPCL, like you said, is the sole importer of petrol and have never tried in letting us know the monies they pay for subsidy. They've always said that. Before now, they rarely give to the federation account any monies, all in the bid to say, oh, we're taking this for subsidy. So knowing that they've never and will never feel the brunt and let us ease the pain, don't you feel they might just be saying the truth, that subsidy is not there? Because we do know them. If it's there, they will tell us the collected so amount. They never seem to pay for us, if you know what I mean. So don't you feel the government is not lying in saying that subsidy is not back on this account?
Physically, government can lie, and governments have been lying, and governments have been trying to cover up their lie. Even many times when we even see a situation whereby maybe there was a crash, there was an accident, there was a disaster, and people die, governments always reduce the figure of the people that are affected. So we know government not to be saints. We know them to be politicians that make every statement that covers them. When
it comes to money and money given to Nigerians, would they not always want to say the truth? It's a question.
They may not also. Look, what they are trying to do by not saying the truth in this particular situation is that they want to cover their shame. You know, Mr. President came up with excitement on the day of his swearing in to make an overwhelming sweeping statement to say that subsidy is gone. Even when the Buhari administration was still managing the situation to enable him win election. The Buhari administration was managing the situation to enable him win election in the sense that he refused to remove the subsidy, because if he does that, the opposition parties will capitalize on that and they will not vote for the APC. But he came in, and even when former president was still trying to see how the subsidy will go by the end of June, he made the statement on the day of inauguration in May, taking out subsidy immediately and pushing hardship onto Nigerians.
So you feel it's all about shame?
Going back now to tell us that subsidy is back is a big shame. So within the government, they are trying to map the entire situation. Mike, you can agree with me that for about 2 weeks now, nobody is hearing from any of the presidential spokesmen. You hardly see Ajirun Garande speak. You hardly see Minister of Information speak. You hardly see Mr. President speak or see him in function performing anything. What is happening that everybody has gone cold within the system. So government can lie. Government can decide not to make public what they are doing that will affect their image. So this is what I think is happening in this situation. But they cannot fool us forever. I believe with the shortest possible time we are going to know publicly from government as well, they send the NNPCL, whether or not they are paying subsidy or not. They can't hide it forever. The evidence and proofs will come out and we will know.
Okay, well, I'll plead with you to hold on. Yes, it's a question, because we do know the NNPCL. They've always told us that, oh, sorry, there's no money going to the federation account on account of subsidy we're paying for these months. They've never shied away from taking monies that was meant to pay subsidy and just giving us a free fall or a free meal. So do you feel on that ground they are not lying when they say, because he said it basically just on Monday, when newsmen asked him, sir, is subsidy back? And he said, well, come on, I've always said the truth about this. Definitely subsidy is not. So should the government be lying on that account, knowing that they will be the ones paying the money for it?
Look, like Fineface has actually said, government can lie. Government has the instrument to cover up their lies, of which I are not privy to. Now, they may not go to that area of trying to remove money from anywhere and say this is in the subsidy account. They can wire money from other expenditure heads.
Okay.
Let us do this and let the public not be aware. I think the whole mistake is snowballing from the fact that Mr. President was too much in a haste to announce the removal of the subsidy.
Yeah.
I could remember the build-up towards 93 election of MK Abiola and Etofa.
Bashir Tofa.
Bashir Tofa. When Tommy Kimi, who was in NRC then, yes, asked the MKO that are you going to increase the petroleum product prices when you become president? The man said, no, you cannot ask me that question. When I get into office, excuse me, when I get into office, I will look at the variable cost of importation, the variable cost of production, the variable cost of taking the PMS to the pump price, to the pump station.
Yes.
And from there, we'll know whether we are going to increase or not. Then Ikimi now went ahead to say, I want us to tell us categorically in this sitting whether you will or you will not. After much pestering, then MK now replied in that, look, let us be civilized. That question, that answer angered the team. But let's come back from there. If we have removed subsidy, what is wrong in government telling us that we have removed subsidy? If you are seated, if I say, Mike, you are a bastard, you will not take me serious. But if your own father now calls you a bastard, you will now ask questions, you ask yourself, before my father will call me a bastard, does it mean it's not my father? If everybody has insinuated that subsidy has been removed, we may not be too much concerned about it. Yeah. But for the Pengassen president now, who also doubles as the TUC president, to come up to say that subsidy has been removed and the government is paying it indirectly, then there must be an iota of truth in what he has said.
Okay, now let's look at this iota of truth, because let's look, it all dwells on the forex. We do know that the federal government is the one basically through the NNPCL importing the fuel. Now let's look at what happened yesterday in the House of Assembly, in the House of Rep,
yes,
when they summoned the CBN management to come to explain to them why the Naira seems to be on free fall. As it stands today, the Naira is 1,025 Naira to $1. Now, looking at that and telling even the CBN to put a halt on the free fall of the Naira, and knowing that the CBN or Nigeria doesn't control the forex, basically the CBN cannot control the forex. Basically, the federal government cannot control the forex. That's how it stands.
Yes.
Now, looking at that and also knowing that we buy petrol through the dollar, do you feel the federal government can hide this? If you, with your belief now that feels that, yes, they are subsidized, do you feel the truth will eventually come out sooner than later, as Mr. Fineface has earlier stated?
Definitely.
Knowing that, come on, they do not control the forex.
Definitely the truth will come out one day. You cannot hide it for too long a time.
And do you feel it's pretty going to be soon?
Yes, because we will hit a rock. And by the time you now hit a rock, and the process of bouncing back, that is when the whole truth will start unveiling. But it will have been better for us to know the truth now. We are so much enlightened these days compared to our the Stone Ages, that nobody has information or has access to any information. This is even a 5-year-old child has access to any information that we need. If you are hiding this information, somebody somewhere is already knowing the whole thing. Now, Osifo has blown the wind by saying
the bubble.
Yes, he has blown the wind. Everybody is now trying to see. People will now start researching. Is this man saying the truth? Who is the man that is lying? Is it the presidency that is lying? Is it people that lied? Now coming to the other side of our information management system, which Nigeria has lagged for a very long time now. We're supposed to be having presidential briefing every quarter. It was done in the past, but for a very long time now we've not seen that. So that every quarter the president will brief the nation on the state of our affairs. We have not seen that. If this type of a rumor is ongoing, it is enough to assuage the people's mind on these issues by somebody coming out. Like he mentioned Ngalale. Ngalale has been very eloquent. He has been up there in the ladder in terms of information dissemination. But we've not heard anything from him concerning this. All these presidential spokespersons, we've not heard anything. Even 2 days ago, 3 days ago, Mr. President just appointed 3 other media aides again. Nobody is saying anything. And when there is no information, the next thing you have is rumor. And by the time a rumor travels for 1,000 years at the rate of 1,000 kilometers per hour, it takes a longer time for the truth to catch up.
Mr. Fineface Dunamini, I'll need to come to you. I know you're in Port Harcourt as it stands. Is there any issue as it concerns the availability of the product in Port Harcourt and environs?
I think there is no issue with that. The product is generally available, but the price has increased from what it used to be.
Okay.
Unlike some other parts of the country, we normally buy and sell in Port Harcourt between 585 Naira and 591 naira. But currently, we are buying the product at 605, 610, and 615 naira in some filling stations. But the product is generally available. You can get it when you want it.
Okay, now talking about the price variation, when was that variation noticed? Because we want to try and see and see if there's really that gap or really that truth in what Festus Osifo said. When was those variation noticed?
Yeah, the variation was noticed like 2 weeks back. Like 2 weeks back. It's now up to 2 weeks since we started noticing the variation. Otherwise, it's just been generally stable. So let's say from the second week of September, we started noticing that variation, that little move, from what it used to be. Because in Port Harcourt, at the NNPC air filling station, you get it even higher prices there.
Okay.
If you get there, you can buy less than 591 naira before now.
Okay.
But when you go to other major marketers, you could buy 585 naira, a little less or a little more. But now, among the major marketers, you still have 605, 610, 615, while the NNPCA is still trying to maintain 591 naira. And oftentimes you see queue there, so people don't want to look at that little difference and queue up to waste their time. So they move to where it is available and at higher prices and buy, and they go their way.
Okay, now I will plead with you not to go away, but we need to go on the break now. So also with you, Comrade Efeodomo. And when we come back, we'll try to really balance the fact. See if it's true, if subsidy is back, or if it's not. That's what we're having. Let's go on the break.